The May 14th, 2018 meeting of the Fayette County Board of Zoning Appeals is now called to order. If you'd all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Bev, you can do the roll call, please.
Carrie Steele.
Here.
Bill Crawford.
Here.
James Fisher.
Here.
Ruby. Jason.
Here.
Bill.
Present.
Mr. Judd.
Here. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's an old one.
And myself.
All right, we have a quorum. So, moving on then, next item is the approval of our minutes of the meeting of April the 9th.
I make a motion we accept them as presented.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, minutes approved. All right, moving on to public hearings. First is John Wesley Tipton requesting a variance from development standards regarding privacy fence height from 6 feet and front yard fence of 4 feet and solid rather than open fence. This is for Pierce subdivision lot number 7, commonly known as 1420 Martin Street. So Mr. Tipton, you can come up and state what's going on. And
Yeah, first I apologize for not coming to the, I guess, applying for the permit to do it first, where I went to Lowe's and I was assuming that they knew what was allowed for as height and stuff, and that's where, when I did find out, I stopped them from putting any more fence up, but I was wanting to get the variance for the fence. The reason for in the back is, far as I was applying for a variance of 8 foot in the back because of privacy. Our lots are like 50 by 100, real small. I mean, you got no really privacy outside, and without having that height, I mean, your neighbors are just right on you. And what I want to do is just put a hot tub in the back, and I would like to have the privacy that, you know, you don't feel like you can take your shirt off and, you know, get in your swim trunks and get in your hot tub without, you know, your neighbors right there looking in on you. And I went with the solid fence in the front of the property. And the main reason is I was having some issues with grass from the neighbor. He tended to throw to one side, so I went to the solid fence to block that. And then I just went ahead and went uniformed so it would look, you know, all around is why that was for. I submitted, I guess, some pictures where you can see that the grass is partially blocked because the fence does knock it, but if you grant me the variance, I'm gonna put the river rock underneath the bottom of the fence to keep the grass from coming through, so I won't, you know, have any problem in that, I guess, issue.
Let me read into the record the letter from the neighbor.
all right, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Okay. This letter is from Gerald Zur, 1422 Martin Street, Connersville, Indiana. This is in regards to John Wesley Tipton request for a variance for a fence. I would like to mention that he just requested a variance to concrete more of his yard than is allowed just a couple of years ago. He got that variance, which I'm okay with. I don't care for a solid fence in the front yard, but if he wants to keep up what he has put up, I'll live with it. I am opposed to a 48-inch fence, 48-inch fence height in front, and I'm opposed to an 8-foot fence on the side. I'm okay with a 6-foot fence on the side and don't mind if he keeps the 8-foot fence in back. I'll still be there no matter what you people decide. I don't know why there's a zoning code if you can change it every few months. Thanks for hearing my view. Signed, Gerald Zur.
Thank you, Bill, for reading that. Just, Mr. Judd, correct me if I'm misspeak or something, but the purpose of this board is to deal with kind of hardship cases where the zoning code causes difficulties for people using their properties in normal ways.
That's
Is that-
accurate.
Okay, very good. So essentially, we need to determine that there's some sort of a hardship case here. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, very good. Now, having said that, I'm going to open this up to any questions from the board members for Mr. Tipton.
Okay, I have a question. Is it okay if he comes up? Because I'm just want to make sure because usually I try to drive by everywhere and I didn't get a chance to come by here. So this may be, I apologize that I didn't get that opportunity. I probably could have figured it out if I had done that. I can't figure out how a neighbor gets grass under a fence in the front.
Well, see, his property.
So it's the side?
Yeah, it's this side. This is his house.
Uh-huh.
And you don't really notice it. And if somebody would have told me that Martin Street ran at an angle, I would have never agreed with them. But if you step back and look at the houses, each house starts out, there's two houses to my east, and they're about 6 inches drop, each about 6 inches down. So his yard is a little higher, and it's like when he throws his grass, he don't have a mulcher mower. Instead of him turning around and throwing it in his own yard, he mows it and just gets a big grin on his face, throws it right down my side.
Okay, I guess,
And that's why I say I was wanting to put River Rock, but I didn't want to spend, it's probably gonna be $3,000
Right. Oh,
worth of
yeah.
River Rock.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
I don't
no,
get the variance until I find out for certain, but that'll solve that problem.
okay, so I guess that's, maybe this picture will help me some. Okay, so this is, and I apologize that this is where you have the solid 4-foot fence, right?
Yeah, it starts at the break of the house. That's what Lowe's said. When I as Lowe's, it could be 4 foot from the break of the house around the front. So it's 4 foot here, and then about midway through the length worked out, it went 6 foot back. And then across the back, I originally started, this is where it started, it was 8 foot here. And then I thought, well, I don't have to have 8 foot here. So he put 6 foot down here, but once they got the 6 foot here, then I realized that you can still see his property 6 inches higher, and it's just like continuously right to where my hot tub's gonna be is where he's at. And
So is this right now, is this 6 feet?
yeah, this is 6 feet, and I'd already purchased 8 feet for this side, where the side of where the hot tub was gonna be, and they put one section up, and I told them stop, don't
Right.
do anything else until I find out, because at that time I didn't know there was restrictions on height-wise,
Okay.
but,
That's what I was just trying to figure out, like in my head, I couldn't figure out how this 4-foot section kept him from blowing grass into your side
Right.
yard, but
It's this
it's much
section.
more clear now.
Yeah,
That's
see,
where I was
his-
trying to figure out. I could not figure, I was like, that map does
see,
not
he had
work
this
out.
chain link fence, and it started with the chain link fence, the concrete, and he wanted to have his sewer line done. So I said, well, take the fence down, which is his fence. I went ahead and took the fence down so he could get his sewer line done. Well, he never got it done. Then once I got my concrete, then he wanted to put the sewer, have the guy put the backhoe in there. And I said, I don't want no backhoe on my brand new cement.
Right, I understand. Okay, so
then-
so there is a fence here, and this fence is 4 foot tall.
Yeah, and then
And so
this
your fence is also
over-
4 foot tall.
Yeah, and it's right beside his.
Okay.
And then this is the line where the property line is. So technically, his
Yeah,
fence is on
okay.
my land.
But
But
the-
that don't no problem.
Okay,
with
did
it. I
you
don't-
say that the existing chain link fence is 4 feet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you
I just
installed the same
matched-
height fence to match the height?
Yeah, just so
Okay.
it would. So
And so the variance is I want to make sure I'm very, very clear because
Yeah, okay, the 3 items. Number 1 is the part that's the 8-foot tall privacy fence.
which is just the very back section,
Yeah, then what he has on the side.
what he wants to put on the side.
Yeah, but he would like to change the 6-foot to an 8-foot.
Okay,
Okay, then the other is the 4-foot fence, Wait.
on the side or in the front?
which is on the side and the front. Now, we've established that it's the same height as the chain link fence that already exists. So Mr. Tipton was operating on that particular assumption.
Which I think is reasonable.
Okay. He's then for the solid fence, which the rationale for the solid fence is to keep the neighbor from blowing everything into his yard. So if it isn't a solid fence, they need to have the problem with all the clippings being blown through the fence and onto his
But is the
driveway.
solid fence, I thought that the code was that the solid fence, the problem was that it was solid in the front.
Yeah, well, what it is actually, should have been that the solid fence is in the front setback, front yard setback. So the way the zoning code is that the privacy fence goes up to would be the front foundation line of the house. Would be
Okay.
where would it be at the 6 feet? And then from that point on, it's required to be both open and then also 42 inches.
Okay.
And I just did, like I said, to match, you know, I mean, it's what, when I did the side, I just thought, hey, you wouldn't want to put one side fence there and then put a different, just thought it would look nicer, and at the time, I didn't know there was any such ordinance.
Bill, you didn't actually measure that chain link fence, right?
No, I didn't measure the height of it.
Yeah, you can see it. I will say that you can see it in the picture pretty good.
I drove by there and they're the same height.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't,
Thanks, Jeff.
it didn't appear to me, but I think the one problem I have with the whole situation is the solid fence in the front yard. But the height doesn't bother me that much, but I'm a little concerned about the solid fence in the front, and I understand the reasoning behind it. But that bothers me a little bit.
You mean the solid fence along his property line?
Or just
or
along the
across
front,
his front?
or along the,
Just in the front.
parallel to the street?
Right.
Or all of it,
Just the
parallel to the street? Okay.
It sets back, you know, 20 feet from.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so it's not really for somebody backing out of their driveway or anything. I mean, I'm not, that's why I
Yeah.
took the picture to show like down the street where you could see that it's back off of the road.
Any other questions to bring up with this?
And what Mr. Tipton actually referred to really is the primary rationale behind the open fence.
But-
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that's the rationale, is the safety.
But I think we might be stepping out of bounds, just making that change of the variance based on trying to keep peace in the neighborhood. And if we do that every time, you know, we're gonna be doing a lot of variances just to keep peace in the
And the
neighborhood.
uniform of the fence is another, you know, I mean, if you got one fence up one style and then you go to something else,
Yeah.
it's not as
I
attractive.
see why you do it, and I understand that, but that's why these rules are in here, you know, and kinda like he said, you know, if you're just gonna change them every other week. I mean, the backyard, I don't have a problem with that, because you're trying to keep the privacy for your hot tub, and that makes sense. But the front, it just seems like we're just being like policemen, or some kind of an arbitrator, you know, trying to help keep the neighborhood peace, and I don't think that's what we're here
What's
for.
funny is I feel the same way, only reverse. I could care less about the way the front looks, but I feel like if our code says that and there's nobody else in that neighborhood with 8 feet, I feel like it's very arbitrary to say you're allowed to have privacy, but nobody else is allowed to have privacy. I just find it interesting because I feel the exact same way, only in reverse.
I know what you're talking about too, because even the one that we did in the past out in Wellsview,
Yes.
I felt a little uncomfortable doing that one, and
Right, yeah.
we were doing the same thing.
Exactly, and that's why I was kind of like giggling a minute ago, because I was thinking of that same Wellsview variance.
But
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like that's what we're doing, is just like molding the rules back and forth to just be like this arbitrator to help neighborhoods. You know, and I know you got a lot of money in it, and
$12,189
I know.
as it sets. And I'm sorry that I didn't come here first or see Bill first.
Okay.
Like I said, I went to Lowe's, and that's the only time everything else I've done in my house I've had done locally from local contractors in Connersville.
and we run
This
into this a
isn't the
lot. with
first
Lowe's.
time, though, that you've gotten started on a project only to find out that you should have come in and talked to somebody beforehand, though, with the concrete in the driveway, right?
I didn't start the concrete until
Yeah,
the
he
variance
came
was
in
granted.
before he started
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I
Alright,
did.
good.
Yeah, we
Good.
didn't do anything on that until.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's why Mr. Frank came in to
Yeah, he
get that?
Yeah,
he
take
did
care of it for
concrete
him.
work.
All right,
Yep.
good. All right, we have, what, how many different?
There's
The three different
ones.
issues.
Now, it can be in whole, it can be partial. I mean, it doesn't have to be, the variance doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be this or it can be that. So you can do it either approve or deny in whole or just certain elements of it. So if you feel that there's an argument made on certain parts of it, but not other parts, you can vote along those lines.
I get, why would, what does it matter if he has a solid board fence on the front that's the same as the side or an open board fence? What's the issue there?
I think the original issue was, like he said, when you're pulling out of the driveway so you can see. But myself personally, I think it just looks odd aesthetically, part of it. You know, and I know that's not what the intention of the variant or the rule was, but I feel like that, you know, in some ways we have to enforce those rules, but we make variances on them. That's what we're here for. So I'm not going to say that I would vote for it or against it. I'm just saying that it bothers me a little bit because it's not.
I bought the nicest fence they had.
It is.
I mean,
It is.
honestly,
It is.
I did.
I don't, again, I think you and I are usually on the same, aesthetically, I don't think that's if there was a true safety concern, then I would definitely not have a
Right.
sense of humor about this.
Right.
But I don't feel like that's,
And with it being set back that far, that's one of the reasons why I probably will vote for it,
right.
but. it
And this
just
doesn't, I'm kind of like, I'm going to say the same thing as you. I don't know that it's going to change my vote, but the person that, Mr. Zur, is that the neighbor
Yeah.
that blows grass?
Well, we won't go to that.
No, I mean, but no. I just mean like, is that the neighbor that we were discussing? Is that the neighbor that lives on this side?
That was the letter that, yeah, that was,
Okay.
that was addressed.
Yeah, and it does not matter to me one way. That's why I kind of cut you off a little bit ago about the neighbor feud, because that's not what we're here
No,
about. So
and we're not-
I wasn't trying to be rude. I just want to make
No,
sure.
we're not like, at each other's throats or nothing like that.
All right,
It's
I just was
I
making sure.
I did it because, like I said, I was just trying to make my property as nice as I could.
Okay.
And it
It's
was-
not as though you two would
it's
sit down and have a beer together, right?
No, sir.
And it does look good. I mean, I will give you that.
Yeah,
I know.
I tried.
Sorry.
But, like I said, I've lived in Connersville. I moved away for a short period and I came back to town. And, I like Connersville. I was 2 doors down from there originally is where I was brought home from the hospital at. So I've been a majority of my life on that street. I don't want to move. But I just really would like the privacy as far as, the hot tub is something that I can't wait to get.
Okay. You ready for a motion?
All right, I'll take a motion if you want to do it all as one big thing, or if you want to cut it up into smaller pieces, however you want to do it.
I want to make a motion that we pass it in whole as it is today.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. I'm assuming you didn't want to speak on this issue. Okay. All right, go ahead, Bev.
Carrie Steele,
Yes.
Bill Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Faber,
Fisher.
or Fisher. Where'd I get Faber? I'm
I
sorry.
don't know. Well, there is a Jason Faber who used to be a
Yes.
contractor.
Okay. Jason?
No.
Okay.
So it passed. So,
3-1.
yep, 3-1. So what do you need to talk to you any further?
Okay,
or-
what we'll just give is, I'll prepare a letter stating the variance was granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'll send you a letter stating that, and keep that with your records. And that's all we really need with this then, so.
It's okay to have the 8 foot in the back. Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Make sure you check next time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if there's a way, do we keep track of when folks do false starts? You understand what I mean? Do we have a tracking mechanism? Do you have surely you've got time for that.
Oh, I've got time for everything.
I stopped in,
Anyway,
I stopped in and asked you a question today about a carport. So,
Yes, you did.
so
I think you learned your lesson.
And it's very expensive. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
So here you go.
All right, next item. And where'd my,
I need his agenda.
where'd my agenda go? You stole my agenda.
I shared it with you.
All right, next public hearing is Michael and Margaret Sims requesting a variance from development standards in regards to constructing a garage within 50 feet of this front setback. Address is 6625 South County Road 200 East, known as Willowview, Section 1, Lot Number 4. So, Mr. Sims, you come up and tell us a little bit about what is going on.
I might as well start at the beginning. We downsized and bought a house out there last year. We had 9 acres and I had quite a few buildings out in Alpine. And now I've got everything crammed into a 2-car garage out there that came with the house. And I want to build a 30 by 40. And I've measured in every place I could measure, and this is the only way I can get it. So I could use the original driveway going to the 2-car garage and still be able to get into the new garage. And this is the only, it's gonna be 3 foot closer to the road. It's gonna be 47 feet from the road.
Basically, explain what you were telling us prior to the meeting.
Yes. Well, I thought if I put it around back, there's gonna be the septic and all that to deal with, plus another driveway going around back. And if I put it right beside the other one, I'm gonna have 3 overhead doors. And to be able to, I don't know if you can see this one.
Okay, so you want to have the doors facing
The driveway.
this
Yes.
driveway,
Yes.
all right, not the street, but the side. Okay.
Yeah, the doors will be this way so I can use this driveway, and there'll be an entrance door right here. But to get all 3 doors in so I can go in like that, it has to be, I measured, and 3, it's only 3 feet, but I can't move it back any further. I'll be back behind that door.
You can't build on a septic field.
No. And really, then I have to put a driveway back there and there's
So where is the
And then you
septic
have to-
field? It's behind it, right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't go back any
And
farther.
you can't build a drive over a septic field either.
Yeah, I would be, yeah. And there's an outside storm cellar there in the back, and I really there's not room to really put anything else in there. After my wife bought this huge swing set for the grandkids. that I'm still working on putting together.
has any of your
Oh my
neighbors
goodness.
said anything about being opposed to it? or
No,
anything?
I've went over and talked to them all, Doug Proctor and I don't know what Bill's last name, can't think of what his last name is. I went and talked to both of them, they said, well, that's not gonna be any closer than what all these trees are out there. So they said they didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
Roger
so-
Wells said he didn't have a problem.
Yeah, and in any case, since you're going to be backing into the driveway, not into the road, so you're not leaving directly from the structure onto the road or coming into the
No.
structure from the road.
No.
Yeah, so that makes it a safer situation.
Yeah, it's be a whole lot cheaper using one driveway instead of having to put another driveway in somewhere.
Yeah, that's understandable. Any questions for Mr. Sims? No. All right, if no further questions, then a motion.
I move to accept the variances presented.
We have a motion to grant the variance, we have a second.
I'll say.
All right, any discussion? No? Bev,
I got mine.
thought you sleeping.
Note taking. Carrie Steele,
Yes.
Bill Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes,
Passed by a vote of 4-0.
4-0. All right, so his next step would be,
Well, his next step will be coming in and to go with the actual building permit, as I'll give him a letter also stating that the approval on this date of the variance.
Again tomorrow. Well, I'll try to
You
get,
better call first to make sure I'm gonna be in. I got a kind of a busy day, construction season starting to get going.
All right, well, very good. Well, thank you very much.
a year and 8 months when I'm retired, I'll be out there working on my old vehicles, so.
All right, thank you. All right, next on our agenda is be the director's report, which you should all have. If there are no questions, a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion, we accept it as presented.
I'll second.
Oh, you didn't want to ask me questions.
No, sorry, she has a ball game
I
to
got it
go
all
to.
good.
Did you walk to some of those? You only got 106 miles on there.
Oh, that's from last month. Yeah, actually, there's about 376.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, well, primarily because I had multiple projects.
All right, I'm calling the question.
Up on
All in favor?
up on 1,000
We
north.
have a motion on the floor, Bill. All
I had to make a comment.
I
right,
know.
all in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. All right, and then
Don't blame me, blame Bill.
last would be
Make a motion, we
adjourn.
adjourn.
All right, we have a
I
motion.
second.
All right, meeting adjourned.
There you go, Carrie, we got that.
You got
That's right.